Hi everyone, it's Craig with One Man's Cancer Journey. In this week's episode, I want to share with you the results of our consultation at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. On Thursday of this week, we drove up after lunch to Jacksonville so that we would be able to stay in a hotel and not have to worry about rushing in the morning because our appointment was at 9 a.m. In the morning, we met with Dr. Jason Starr, who was recommended to us by Dr. Tajani. He was a wonderful oncologist and he had an intern, and they had all prepared for our meeting. They had looked at our images, they had looked at our test results, and really had some great questions we were able to kind of close the loop on. And then we talked about what our options were. And so currently he has two clinical studies. One I unfortunately don't qualify for because I needed to have a positive marker in one of my testings and mine was negative. So we weren't able to qualify for that. The second was one that was written by a good friend of Dr. Starr's. However, the way he presented it, I didn't get a good sense that he felt confident that this was a great study and could be a good fit. Additionally, it would require that we drive up to Jacksonville 3 weeks in a row to potentially receive the infusion and this alternate drug. Now, the alternate drug, it's a one-to-one study, meaning that once we got into the study, we would be assigned either the alternate drug or the traditional therapy. The traditional therapy is the same two drugs that we were scheduled to receive on Friday of next week as part of the next round or regimen of our testing with Advent Health and Dr. Tajani. So we talked about it, asked some questions, and decided that we would continue with the treatment that we had planned for us in Orlando with the two new drugs, one of which has been shown to potentially have some impact. And so there have been patients, both Dr. Tajani and Dr. Starr shared that there have been patients who don't react very strongly to the FOLFOX regimen, which is the first treatment we were on, but they do react more favorably with this second treatment. So we're hoping we're in that batch that reacts more favorable to the second treatment. But this way too, I'll have it every other week like I've been having. The one drug does have the side effect of neuropathy, and so since I'm already experiencing that, we're hoping that it doesn't get worse. But the great thing was Dr. Starr did have some recommendations that if it does get worse, here's some things you can do to address that, and he's putting that in notes to Dr. Tajani, so he has those. Additionally, since we're no longer in the clinical study, we don't have to see Dr. Tajani each week before our infusion. Therefore, we're able to actually try out an infusion center that's a little closer to our house rather than going downtown Orlando. So we're going to try that out on Friday, see how we like it, and if so, we may move some of our infusions over there because it's a little closer to home. This round of infusions should be about 4, maybe 5 hours in the infusion center. It's just two drugs. One, I think, takes an hour, and the other one takes up to 3 hours. We'll obviously have to start with blood work again to make sure our platelets and everything look good before we start it. So great visit with the Mayo Clinic. We're now a patient there. So once we go through this second round of chemotherapy, we can reach out and say, hey, what's new? And we do know, I think I had previously mentioned there's a big conference in the June timeframe for oncologists, and the Dr. Starr had mentioned to us that several drug companies have already reached out to him about potential clinical trials. So once we get through this second round of chemotherapy, we'll reach back out to Dr. Starr and the Mayo Clinic and see what might be available to see if there's an option for a clinical trial there, or if we continue on with the third round of chemotherapy with yet new additional drug. For my gratitude moment, I'm grateful that we have such great facilities close by that even though it was a 2.5 hour drive to get up to the Mayo Clinic, it's reasonable for us to be able to get up there and get the second opinion and get that confirmation that the treatment plan we're on is a good treatment plan and that currently there's not really anything else out there for us. So let's continue with our current treatment plan. And once that runs its course and the cancer starts to show resistance to that, then we can explore what other options we might have. but now we're both a patient at Advent Health and the Mayo Clinic, and so the options to us are open, and we look forward to what it might bring in the future. I'm Craig with One Man's Cancer Journey, and I wish for you a blessed week.